Today's podcast is brought to you by Whataburger. The deliciousness of Whataburger must be tasted to be understood. It's an emotional journey you must take at least once in your life and check off your bucket list. My favorite thing is everything. Enjoy a delicious Whataburger today. And stay tuned. We'll be announcing how you can win Whataburger for a year at the end of this podcast. Now, let's learn how to knock the rust off with our Rust Buster Challenge.
How would you like to have an unfair advantage every time you stepped on a golf course where you have the confidence and skill to boom drives, drain putts, and win weekend skins games? You can. The Single Digit Blueprint uses proven systems, structures, and strategies to lower your golf scores. Single Digit Blueprint uses proven systems, live coaching every day, mastermind groups, and monthly group challenges that sharpen your game so you can master the game. Get your $1 trial right now at singledigitblueprint.com and become a golfer everyone else envies.
Today, I'm joined by our tamed golf pro, Richard Guzzo, a.k.a. Dick Fats. Some say he thinks BMW is an acronym for Bernie Must Win. And if he felt like it, he could talk Adam Scott into changing his name to Scott Adam. Welcome, Rich.
I thought BMW was for Donald Trump supporters, beautiful Mexican women.
Well, there are a lot of beautiful Mexican women. I don't know if you've watched the Spanish channels, but you're probably well aware of that, being in the San Antonio area.
Yeah, that's the thing about San Antonio. It doesn't feel like Texas. It's got the Latino vibe, so it's very weird. It's a multicultural type city. So it's not your
a big military town too, isn't it? And there's a lot of tourists, which is not typical of most Texan cities. So I heard that you are you're a socialist. You back Bernie Sanders, and you've actually been going around your neighborhood cutting half of the Bernie Sanders signs in half and leaving a note behind that says it's only fair. And you take that half and you put it in your yard. So you're taking a bunch of halves, and then you've got a bunch of halved signs put together. Why are you doing that?
They're sitting in my office. The HOA won't allow to put us on the yard, but yeah, it's a pretty good idea, right?
Yeah, and we're only kidding, of course.
That's what he's promoting, so it's only fair to do it till he signs.
Yeah, and I don't know, how he would pay for all those things, but that's another day. And let's talk about Adam Scott. Let's get off of politics.
He's on fire.
And everybody was last year when they had this anchor ban, they were like, we'll never hear from Adam Scott again. We'll never hear from him. But, you look at that golf swing is probably one of the most beautiful golf swings in the last 40 years, honestly. And I was listening to Butch Harmon's book the other day. So I got Butch in early. And this was back when Adam was just out of college. I think he went to UNLV or some college up there. And he worked with him. And the second that he saw him was like, whoa, this guy, he's got something. So, he's adapted pretty well. What do you think of the putting change?
So, yeah, he has a beautiful swing, but a lot of the guys that I talked with that have tried to go on tour, most all of them, you ask them, well, what happened? And it's like, I didn't make enough putts. So putting is a crucial element. But when you do a side-by-side for Adam Scott, and this is the big difference. For us normal golfers or amateurs, when you switch to an anchored putter, whether it be belly, chest, chin, you almost, from a short putter, it almost changes your entire stroke. And if you do a side-by-side comparison of Adam Scott with his long putter to his short putter, the angle, how he grips it, how he takes it back on the angle and through, it's identical. The only thing that changed is a few inches on the end of the club. And so that's where the transition for him, I think, is made easy. Now, it looks easy. Yes, he's got everything identical. I'm sure it took a ton of effort to make sure he was able to replicate those angles. So,
well, obviously, he's got a great coach.
Yeah, so that's been the great thing to see, is that the actual putting stroke itself hasn't changed. It's just
I like how he's like chill mode out there. It's like nothing bothers him. Yeah, he got some really bad scores on a few holes, and he shouldn't have won the tournament. But even with those, he still came through and won it.
Yeah, the emotional ride is another topic that we probably should do a podcast on, to where you try and keep an even keel on your emotion throughout the round. You don't want to go too high, and you don't want to go too low. Now, Tiger Woods' whole deal when he used to make huge putts and do the fist pump, that's a rare example. A lot of golfers can't do that because it spikes your emotions up. Hard to bring it back down to level so that when you get to the next shot, your adrenaline's too high to hit a actual good quality shot. So
I think that's what he was really good at was something bothers him, whatever it is. He's able, he gets pissed, whatever, yells at somebody or slams his club. And then 5 seconds later, you can't tell that anything even happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is something that every golfer should strive to do. I used to do it like it's a 10-second rule. If you're walking, it could be a 5-step rule, meaning once you've hit something or done something, you have a set parameter. Meaning, if you're walking the golf course, it could be 10 steps. That meaning you've hit your shot, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. You've got 10 shots to just flush it, meaning you can get angry, you can jump for joy, whatever. But once you've walked your 10 steps, clear your emotion level, bring it back, and then get things back to normal. That allows you to move into that next shot, whether it be from putting for eagle because you just striped a 260-yard 3-wood onto the par 5, or you've hit a shank and you're trying to recover from that. So it's emotional. And there have been a few out there recently. So the emotion levels is what it is. So you don't carry that on to the next shot. So
you can't say that word anymore. You can't say that word on here anymore.
Well,
don't even think about it.
My playing partner in a 4-bowl match a couple of weeks ago got the shanks.
Whoa, we're gonna have to beep that out.
And it's you can't do anything. He's almost derailed his entire swing. He's hit one, and he's rattled off 2 or 3 more after that, and it's just within his head. So it's thankfully it didn't catch over to me.
You know what causes a shank is a closed club face.
The way to fix it is just put the hosel on the ball. Actually, try and hit a shank, and you won't do it. So that basically forces you to bring the club on the inside. What happens is just basically your club's going on the outside and you've hit the hosel. That's really what it comes down to.
So this week or last week, we talked about just getting your mind prepared to play golf because a lot of people it's getting that time of year.
We had
some guys out at Congressional. You were out, I was out. Absolutely could not be better weekend. I even got told to go screw myself when I posted the weather report for right here. I had 10 days. It's all in the 70s and lows in the 50s.
That's why you've noticed I haven't really posted too much on our weather. It has been insane how good of a winter it's been. We really haven't had a winter down here.
Well, you usually don't down there. That's a pretty good place to live. That's why they have all the theme parks and stuff. But here, though, we never know what we're going to get. You can usually play golf 12 months out of the year, though. But, the allergies are insane. It's killing me.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go in a different direction this week, and we're actually going to go and do things, and we have what we call the Rust Buster Challenge. So this is about preparing your body. Last week we prepared the mind. We're going to prepare the body and the mind this week, and it's crucial to preventing injury, performing your best, and living longer. So this challenge isn't going to be based on results. We're not going to have any scoring or things like that. I think we'll do that. Maybe we might add it. We're doing this on the fly. We might do that next week. So this first week, we're going to do a consistency challenge. So what that is I'll say you need to exercise, you need to do stretching, you need to practice, you need to do your greasing the groove, maybe some indoor practice if you can't get out. And each time you do one of those things, that's going to be a point. So the more consistent you are, the more points you're going to get. And then we'll have some things in addition to that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. But Rich, you're going to need to build one of your famous checklists for the private Facebook mastermind group.
Okay.
So I originally had down 3 weeks, but let's do a consistency challenge this week. That should get everybody up and running. And then next week, what do you think we do kind of a chipping and putting challenge just for the week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a follow-on from last week. It's, adjusting your expectation levels. And so now we're moving into just warming up your game. And so, yeah, putting and chipping is where I would start first, and then moving into, the long game.
Yeah, so maybe the week after we do a abbreviated version.
Yeah.
So we'll start March 14th, and I think daylight savings time changes again.
Yeah, it should be this weekend. So we should be good.
What is this bullshit anyway? I don't know. Nobody's ever been able to explain it to me. What is it?
You're asking the wrong person. In Australia, my state doesn't even do it. It's not by every other state.
Arizona doesn't do it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's like one state in the entire Australia doesn't do daylight savings. And before I left, we lived about an hour from the border. So you've got people that live on New South Wales that work in Queensland, and it's just a nightmare. So, I don't understand.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, I think in Australia, and especially Queensland, I think it's based on farmers. They've kind of dictated it for.
I think it goes back to somehow it's supposed to save energy because there's more daylight, so you use less lighting in factories and schools and things like that. I don't know, but I think it's bullshit, and I wish it would just go away. I like it getting dark at 10 o'clock at night because that means when you get off work, you can go to the golf course until bedtime.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
No, I like daylight savings. I just wish it was all year round too.
So if you spring ahead now we get an extra hour. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, that might change our playing schedules, but it's usually for the best. I like it.
Yeah, I wish it would just stay after it changes. So what are you thinking we should give away? We're going to be doing a weekly challenge. We should have a weekly challenge winner. So at the end of next week, we'll have the consistency challenge winner on Sunday. And then we'll go into chipping and putting challenge for just a week. And then I think I don't even know what to call it. It's not power and distance because it's not going to be just the driver, but your irons as well. Challenge. I know what we'll do. We'll do red zone. So we'll have chipping and putting. Actually, we'll do consistency challenge this week to get the feel back and get our fundamentals squared away. Next week, we'll do chipping and putting. And then the third week, we'll do red zone. And then we should be good because that'll translate over to full swing. And then then we can go straight into the power and distance challenge for everybody, which will be 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on which one you take. All right, so number one on our list, and there's 8 of these for the consistency challenge coming up on March 14th. So you'll need to do this each day. And when you do it, you give yourself a point. And we'll have the checklist. And at the end of the day, you'll comment back onto the Facebook group and tell us that you've done it. And this one is, so we have 2 things here. Step 1 is regain your touch. Indoor, end your day right before bed with 15 minutes of putting and chipping. So before you go to bed, just grab your putter, your chipper, mess around. You don't even have to really try that hard. Just start to get the feel back. You know,
you don't even need a putting mat. I mean, it could be just on the carpet without a ball. It's just, work on it.
We're not going to stress over alignment and this and that. We'll do that next week. This week, we won't even really mess with it. And if you can go outside, hit the public putting green for a quick 18 holes putting, drawback game if you can. And just, throw some balls out here and there, 30 to 40 balls, and just chip from random locations. And once you're done, you're done. Pick up and leave. I think that's a pretty good way to get the feel back, is to just go out there and have no expectations.
That's the key.
Just kind of see where things are. Yeah. Step 2, and if you're a student of ours, you know exactly what to do here, is work on your fundamentals with greasing the groove. We talked about it last week. We're going to take it a step further. This is 15 minutes randomly throughout the day. And at first, you're going to start out with a mirror. And if you aren't sure of the proper setup and alignment, you need to go talk to a PGA pro. This literally will take you about 2 minutes of their time. Just walk up to them, just say, hey, do you mind taking a look at my setup and alignment? And if you're in a golf shop, grab a club and just get them to help you on that. But so on this one, you're going to do 15 minutes throughout the day working on your setup and alignment. And this is just randomly throughout the day. So you'll end up at the end of the day of 15 minutes of total time. So first, I want you to set up with your putter and go through your whole setup and alignment with that. Then stop. Then go to a medium iron or a short iron. 7, 8 iron are good. Do your setup and alignment. Actually, I think I have that backwards. So you're going to do putting, setup and alignment. You'll do chipping, setup and alignment. Then a medium or short iron setup and alignment. And then finally your driver setup and alignment. So you'll have 4 things of GTG back to back to back. And when you get done with that cycle, put all the clubs away, move on about your day. So if you're in your office, you probably just need to bring 3 clubs, honestly. And that'll allow you to perform this. And then in your house, pull out 3 clubs. Just set them on the wall by your couch or your chair. So whenever you get up to get a drink of water, run through it. Putting, chipping, your medium iron, and then your driver. So what this is going to do, it's going to get you comfortable addressing the ball. And you're also going to be able to fix any issues that there may be with your setup and alignment. We're talking grip, your posture, all these things. Make sure you're practicing the right things. Yeah. You don't want to just...
The grip change is the easiest way to make a grip change is actually to do it through the grease and the groove and actually not hitting any balls. This is a perfect opportunity. So if you know that you needed to do a particular change in your grip, do it with the grease and the groove. That way you set it to where you want it to be, grab the club, make sure you start getting comfortable with it. Because there's always a uncomfortable phase when you make a grip change. And it could be so slight that it feels foreign. So doing it through the grease and the groove allows you to get that feel being more comfortable so that when you do go to the range to hit balls, it doesn't feel uncomfortable to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you did that over the course of 5 or 6 days, you're going to be pretty comfortable over the ball before you ever strike one. And then we've got step 3, which is use our new practice workout. And we talked about this previously in our private mastermind group. And that is, we went through some back and forth and some updates and changes like that. We're going to release a brand new one that's just going to focus on 30 minutes of practice. Nothing major, 2 to 3 times per week. If you do it 3 times, you get more points. So at the end of the week, we'll pick a winner. And I don't know what the prize is going to be. I'm kind of thinking maybe like a few months of the single digit blueprint, or maybe even a year. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I like that. We'll decide on that. But yeah, I do like that. If it's a weekly challenge, we could give them a month free, something like that.
Yeah. And that'll save you some bucks. So even if you're not in our mastermind group and you participate on our main Facebook page, you will be eligible to win this prize. So, Rich, I think you can probably post both up to the private mastermind group, and then a reminder with a template that says, okay, this is what you do this day, report back in. So we'll see how many people actually do that. And we'll post this on our blog too. So you'll know exactly how to report in.
Yeah, because you're talking about email. So we'll do email, blog, and coaching. So it's basically open to anyone who wants to participate.
Yeah. And like I said, it is a consistency challenge. So those who show up, and we know how to spot the bullshit artists. We just know. So you can't game us. We want a totally legit effort from you. And I think you'll get more out of it. So anyway, we'll have this practice sessions and like a little workout sheet. We have reps and ball count and all these different things that you can work on. And we're just going to work on getting the feel back. We're not really going to focus on much. We're going to get into the habit that golf season's here again. We're going to change over from winter habits to our summer habits now, which I think are much more enjoyable. And then, Rich, we have start exercising. It's step 4. So last week we did a little survey where we gave away the golf body audit, and we learned quite a bit about our target base.
Yeah, I think it's slightly shifted a little bit. It used to be a little younger on the demographic side, but that's fine. I mean, I think more people are becoming savvy with the internet. I mean, that was back when we first started was the reason for our younger demographic is our older ones weren't too familiar with, PDFs and downloads and that sort of stuff. So that's good to see. And I think that was the surprising bit is the demographics got a little older with our group, but
we have the majority of the tribe is 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah.
We have some guys in their 30s. I think what we're finding is that the guys that have they're more comfortable in life, they're not as busy, they have a little more income, they have the time, but they've also lost their physical abilities to some degree. They've maybe put on a few pounds. They're not as flexible as they used to be, but they're super competitive and they want to go out and win the club championship or at least compete for it or at least beat their friends. And I think that's what we've discovered is those guys are the bread and butter now, so to speak. We had a great turnout on that. So anyway, we did the flat belly challenge. I think some guys, the diehards, are still in it. Can you give us any updates on that?
I mean, most everyone's finished. We've got a couple that are on the tail end. So next week I should have the final leaderboard update. But I think 1 or 2 is still pending. But the same as last week. The change there's been no other changes. I think the front runner is still the 18-pound loss one. So
that's pretty huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the great thing about the flat belly. It just gets us ready for the entire year. And whether it's a few pounds to lose, typically that's usually the focus with the flat belly. But
you can't blame the weather for not being able to work out.
Yeah. It's just getting going on a consistent routine. That's really the key to it. It's, they could try any of your workouts. If they do it consistently, they're going to get benefits from it. I think that's the whole idea with Golf Aggressive and our single digit blueprint is that everything that we do is to keep you on a consistent basis. And we know that consistency will show you the results.
Consistency will always win.
Yeah. I mean, we find it all too often, guys in the coaching group who don't touch their clubs for like 2 weeks and then go out and they understand, they're not hitting the ball the way they should be. And then they complain about it. Well,
Well, the mind is not a perfect computer, so you have to keep it fine-tuned. I've read where fighter pilots, if they take off, 3 or 4 days, when they get back into the jet, they're rusty. They're not as sharp as they were, which is why they fly so much. They want to be at their absolute best when they have to be. Golf's no different. It's all mental. And part of the Flat Belly Challenge, we had a walking challenge, Rich, and I want to call you out because I don't believe your numbers. I don't think you can walk that with those short of legs.
Did you not join the Periscope? I Periscoped my entire walk the other day.
Well, so I'll have to check that out because is there a scooter hidden somewhere all along the route? A lot of us are doing this, and we're just like, oh, there's no way.
I mean, I use the app on my phone, so it's based on GPS. So I'm assuming.
Are you running?
Not
short bursts.
Not one single bit of running. So that's why I don't understand. I mean, I got short legs. Why aren't you beating me? So
well, I mean, you always move a little faster than me.
I just don't think you're giving it 100%.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, and some of you listeners out there, you might be like, so okay, I want to work out, but I don't know what to do. So this week I'll be releasing a version of my 14-day jump start that we did for Shed Pounds to Shave Strokes. Since most of our people want to become more flexible and lose some fat, let's just get into it with I'll make a new version of the 14-day jump start. You can use that for this consistency challenge for the workouts. And then that will ease you into any of our other programs that you do. Now, if you're a member, you have full access to everything that we do. I would suggest if you haven't completed, or if you have completed the intermediate workouts for Flat Belly Challenge, move on to the advanced because they're pretty good. They're pretty difficult. So that should give everybody something to work out. We're not going to give you an exact workout to the members because they have a lot of access to a bunch of different things, and some of them are trying different things and whatnot. But to the non-members, I'll get that 14-day jumpstart and email that out. So if you're not on our email list, go to golfaggressive.com and subscribe now. I think it's in the top right corner.
And that tends to be the pain point for non-members who are trying to decide whether or not they're going to join is, just starting. I mean, just starting a workout. That really is it. That's why we do these group challenges, because it forces them to kind of get into a group atmosphere, and then the coaching element kind of helps them keep.
There's just something about starting slow but being consistent, and there's something about the power of other people that are positive. They're not dragging you down. Yeah. They don't want you to fail. A lot of people, they have their spouses or their friends or their family or their coworkers. They don't want them to succeed, and I don't know why that is, but it's a very negative energy, and a lot of people put up with that, but you're not going to get that.
Well, it's also within as well. It's like that video I showed you yesterday about that Donald Trump one, where some lady in the audience asked him a question, and she started out by saying, well, I'm just an average person. How can I get to be where you're at? And he's like, well, you started that question wrong. It's like, you're not average. If you think that you're average, that's what you're going to, your results are going to be average. You got to think that you're great. And when you think that you're great, great things come to you. So it's the same thing. You've got to have, an inner belief as well. But we try to provide you with tools to keep you going along. And that's the great thing about Flat Belly. I know we just do it mainly as a group once a year, but it really kickstarts the year for everyone to get in a right frame of mind.
And if you haven't started yet and you had a resolution for January 1st, you can join us now, singledigitblueprint.com. It's in there. You can start day one whenever. And we talked about that, like, don't wait for Monday.
Yeah,
just
I like
start
that
today. What does it matter? What do you have to wait for Monday?
I think
why do you need more of a break than you've already had? You've had a whole life of like starting Mondays. How's that worked for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, it probably hasn't worked good. Just get your ass on the treadmill.
Yeah, I'm guilty of the Let's Start Monday deal.
Yeah.
Our programs are somewhat designed when we do the group ones to start on Monday, but that doesn't mean that, if you fall off the wagon or if you need to.
Well, we tell people if they do fall off the wagon, you don't restart on Monday. If you fell off the wagon on Wednesday, on Thursday morning, you wake up and you look at that checklist and you do the checklist for Thursday. Forget about trying to make up Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday. If you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. There's nothing you can do about it. Pick up where you left off like you didn't skip a beat. And to me, that has like the power. I'm back on track. I went off the tracks. Now I'm back. It's a very powerful feeling to be able to have that control instead of saying, well, I need to restart on Monday. Well, you're not going to live forever. You're just not. And if you have the secret to that, let me know. I have a very low income, but I will try to come up with some cash for that secret. But the thing is, you're not going to live forever. You're wasting time. And I remember watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, and he's talking about people that come up and waste his time with meaningless conversations. And he was like, I'd rather them take my money. I can make more money. I can never get my time back. So when you waste that time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not only are you eating worse, you're not exercising, you've basically quit. And then Monday, you probably won't even start back up. Let's be real. So just, if you fall off the horse, get back on. If you haven't started, start. You don't have to wait till Monday to start exercising. I'm going to give you a plan this week. We're going to put the checklist up on, which is going to be new. We're going to put it up on the main Golf Aggressive page. So if you're not a student, you're going to be able to participate in this challenge with us. And we hope you see the value in the group and come join us, because we got a very, very active Facebook group. And, Rich, we get results in the single digit blueprint.
It seems like every challenge that, it does surprise me that, everyone trends in the right direction. And it really comes down to the consistency aspect to it. We're able to, each day there's something going on. Now, I know everyone has a busy life, so we've condensed a lot of things so that it can work around that. But even if they were to just do chunks of it, it's still benefiting their goals. And so, but ideally, if they can do the entire program as we've scripted, there's no doubt that they're going to see results from it.
It's consistent focus is all it is. It's showing up every day. And if you screw up and you miss a day or you have to work late, it's okay.
Yeah, things are going to
start up. We start up on the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where those consistency challenges going to come in, because you're going to be able to score yourself. You're going to be able to see where are your flaws at. Are you hitting all your practices, but you're missing half of your workouts, but you're overweight? Your workouts are probably more important than your practice sessions at that point. We'll be able to spot problems and go from there. I like that.
The backwards hat?
Yeah.
I think it's too big on the logo, but
well, it'll work.
It makes me look a little younger when I do rally cap.
I got all of these too to send out. These patches.
Nice. Yeah. We need to get people's addresses, right?
Look at that. It's made in China.
Oh my goodness.
Donald Trump says.
Yeah.
And I'll put our results up against anybody, any golf fitness guru. I challenge you. My stuff's better, because not only do I test it, I research it, we test it, we improve it, and we always come out with something new. We always are working on making things better. This is not...
It's not a one for everyone type deal. And it's the same thing. It's not one swing is for everyone. And so there's so many programs and challenges and plans in our membership group that can cater to everyone.
Yeah, we're not trying to please everyone. We know who we're trying to please. Guys, 40s, 50s, 60s, want to lose weight, want to get more flexible, want to crush it. I mean, that's who our fitness target is.
Yep.
We know it. And we have probably a year's worth of workouts in there that vary from fat loss to strength and power. I mean, you got a full year in there.
I don't think you could run out of doing something in there, to be honest.
No.
I mean, I could do intermediate on any of the workouts consistently for a year and still get really good benefits from it. So, and then just changing it up. And so, yeah, I don't think you can run out of workouts of what's in there. I mean, what's there? There's quarter score, shed pounds. You've got a workout with most all of the challenges. So flat belly, power and distance, red zone. So, and then each of those workout plans have 3 different levels. So there's so many options. So.
And I'm working on elite level for some of the younger guys that they've maintained.
Scare some people, yeah.
Well, I mean they're pretty hard on me, but some of the younger guys they might say, "Oh, this is easy," but I don't think so. I think these are pretty good. And a lot of these golf fitness guys out there, they have really nice packaging. They sell you bands with all their stuff. But it's one video that they filmed 4 years ago that caters to everybody because that's what they do. And ours are not that way. Ours are very serious. And no joking, they get results. So I'll put our results up against anybody. The Joey D guy, the Don from Revolution Golf, anybody. I'm not saying those guys don't know what they're doing, but those workouts are not the workouts that they're giving to Dustin Johnson or whoever their star athlete is. They're just not. I'm telling you right now. So anyway, I'm starting to sound like Donald Trump, Rich. Very boastful.
Make golf fitness great again.
We need to make a hat. Making golfers great again.
Those are the worst hats. I mean, he's got all these golf courses, and I'm sure
he's an old man, Rich.
Yeah, but those hats are horrible.
This looks like something my dad would wear. But they look like those old 80s hats that had like the little line. I kind of want one.
No.
We should make one that says "Making Golfers Great Again."
Yeah.
That looks the exact same hat. Can you make one of those for us?
Yeah, I can find someone in China to do it for you.
No, we have to go American, Rich.
What about Australian?
That's not American. For you, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, and then the next step, we spent a lot of time on fitness. I'm going to put a workout out there for you guys, 14-day on-ramp that will get you going if you haven't been able to get going. And we're talking baby steps, one at a time. But if that's what it takes, and once you get into it, you're going to do well, then let's do it. We don't need to just jump in and get super sore and then not do our workout. But here's the real big deal, Rich. Flexibility, step 5. So I have not put together a stretching program in quite a while. For the
you know what I want though, right? I want one to do right in this chair. So that's your goal. I mean, think about it. I mean, majority of our target market is, they have an office chair. And so they're sitting at a desk. And so we want a flexibility program for this chair.
I think we should hire Carmen Electra to come and demonstrate the stretches.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money that would take. You think she would do it for $500?
She might do it for a golf membership. You never know.
I don't know.
She might do it for one of those hats. Make golf fitness great again.
Let's make some hats for real. Because who knows how long he's going to be in the race. I mean, everybody's out for blood on him now. Which, the total amount of candidates we have, I just don't know. I think we're screwed no matter what happens. But who knows? I think people are just tired of business as usual in Washington, which is, I think, why these outsider guys are doing so good. But I'm going to put together a flexibility program. I'm going to make your hamstrings great again. I'm going to make your lower back great again. I'm going to make your chest and your shoulders and your upper back great again, all through stretching. So, once you can get your body unlocked, a lot of people's bodies start to deteriorate over time. It's because they get adhesions and knots and things like that, and they don't do anything about it to fix it. Which is why foam rolling, stretching, acupressure, if you can go to an Asian acupressure place, it's pretty painful, but I mean, it really helps me out tremendously. So I'll come up with a stretching routine for everybody. And then step 6, Rich, you can probably talk about this a little more because I just use a scorecard, and we talked about how to do this, is I want you to pledge this year to track your stats.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, here we go. Your one iTunes reviewer will be happy with that. No, but I like doing just the old format. Just write it on the scorecard, and then you can either just look at it, assess it, and address it after the round, or put it into a spreadsheet, kind of track it that way. But tracking fairways, greens, putts, up and downs, penalties, whether you're missing the ball left or right with your T-ball. But you've also got so many game-enhancing devices out there that can track this for you, that take it to the next level. Those GPS trackers you put on the butt end of your club. What those
Let me ask you a question, though. I don't like messing with my phone while I'm playing golf. Could I track it on the scorecard and then go back to the house and enter this into an app?
For the stats one, you can. I'm sure there's apps out there that allow you to do it. But the GPS device, it's automatically recording your data, so you don't have to do anything about it.
You know what I'm shocked is that this isn't part of the handicap stuff. Don't you think they would want that information? Not for your handicap number, but for the overall game of golf, so they could see kind of where we are as a group.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on their motives. What is their motives for it? So, I guess it's just not something in their business plan for it. But what the GPS tracking devices will typically show you is areas that you need to work on that you may think are okay. It's easy to say, well, I had 30 putts on this round. My putting's fine. But then you really start looking at the stats, and you are missing a lot of putts within, under 15 feet. And so that could be the determining factor. So if by knowing, distance or proximity to the hole when you're making putts could identify areas in your game that you may not be aware of. So that's where those GPS trackers definitely help, because you might find that it's, I think a lot of the coaches for the tour guys identify that it's the 180 to 230 yard shot is where a majority of the work needs to be focused on.
Yeah, and also you'll get to know your yardages better.
Yeah,
with an app like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any that I would personally use, but because I just don't do the app thing. But if you could maybe make a recommendation later this week.
Well, for the GPS one, there's Game Golf and Across. Those are the two big ones. I think then, the app ones, there is Golf Book, I think it's called, is a good one. Pretty much most of those ones you can get on your app store. They might provide some GPS elements to it for distances and stuff, but you can also put stats in there. It just depends on what you want from it. Whether there's an export option to put it to a spreadsheet, that way you can get a good look at it, or is there a review option? Can I batch 10 rounds together and get the stats from this? So a lot of them don't really provide everything that you want. It's a personal thing, so you might want to look and see which one works best for you. But I'd like to switch to the GPS ones. I'm not a fan of the Game Golf. You got to tap it before you hit, but the Arcos one looks appealing. But I'm on an Android phone, so it's not available on Android right now. So once that's available on Android, I could see myself switching to that, because that will give me true data, like how far I hit my drive, and then put it on a map. I can actually see it where I hit each shot.
That's
But
pretty
just going,
expensive stuff, though, right?
it is, and that's why just going to
I don't
basic
think we need to
scorecard.
get to that,
Yeah,
but
just looking at your basic scorecard and marking down, did I hit the first fairway? And if I did, put a check mark. If I missed it, write L or R, meaning if you missed it left, write an L. And if you missed it right, put an R down. And
we
then at the end of the
covered this,
round,
didn't we? Didn't
we
we
have.
create a
Yeah.
article or a podcast on this? So later
should have
this week,
something.
I'll send that out so people can do this properly on a scorecard. What we're looking for here is just data on your game so that we have something that we can look at and make some adjustments based on low-hanging fruit. So if we see weakness is in putting, or it's weakness in driving or accuracy or things like that, then we can backpedal and fix these things and make them a strength and not a weakness. And that's going to be your fastest way to lowering your score. So next up, step 7 is check your equipment.
And this one should be done once you've warmed your body up for golf, meaning don't be doing this before the season starts. Like if you won't go right now, and you're going to be starting your warm-up process on Monday. So do it within a week or two after you've warmed up everything so that you're fresh to go.
Yeah, I mean, at least your swing is somewhat relative to what it is going to be.
Yeah. And that way, get it all looked at, making sure and the easiest way to do this is every manufacturer has the specs on their website. So type it in, go to their website, print out the specs of your clubs that were from shipment, from when they were new. Print that out, take it to your local club guy.
Now, this is if they were fitted to you. A lot of guys just buy them off the rack. And what I'm going to suggest is go to step further. Since it's cold out in a lot of places, go find a PGA Pro that does custom fitting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to buy new clubs, because they will just do a fitting and then they can adjust your existing clubs.
Yeah. And I like to do it, the printing out the specs, going there and making sure that they're actually accurate, because that way it'll give you an indication whether or not some of the clubs have moved.
Yeah, and I did this.
You can go get.
I did this 3 months ago, and it cost me $20.
Yeah, and then most guys will get you on a board where they put some tape on your club to see whether or not you need some lie adjustment, and then go from there. So print out the specs of your clubs and have it, because that's a good indication. You might find that you just bought a new set of clubs. So, for example, TaylorMade's, I think it was the Speed line, or the irons were less in loft than the PSIs, which just came out. So if you're upgrading, you're expecting to get more distance, but because they're a degree more on loft on the PSIs, you may not get it. There's a reason.
They even have more of a miss with a lower loft too.
I mean, they've probably changed some weighting so that, they've put a bit more loft on it, but you'll gain it back because of how the weighting and the club material has changed in that particular club. But at the same time, it is a different loft. So looking at what you had in your previous set to your current set to maybe your new set, looking at the actual specs on lie, loft, and angles, that will allow you to determine whether or not you need to make some changes. Give you a case in point. I went to 2 degrees flat on my irons, and I've bent them a degree strong. So just by putting the club down flat has helped me gain a few more yards, and then I've bent a degree strong. I've been able to gain a bit more yards just by adjusting my equipment. I'm not really making any other changes. So
I know one of my friends here, he's a PGA Pro. He bent his club stronger because he was getting out of shape.
Yeah,
physical shape.
It
makes his club stronger. He hits the ball pretty straight as it is. He thought, I'll just make him. And that's kind of, I mean, if you want to do that, I guess you can, but you got to have a pretty good swing to be able to pull off that kind of a deal. But, get your equipment checked. Make sure your grips are good. Make sure, if you want to buy some new clubs, buy some new clubs. But make sure you get them fit to you and your game. It does make a difference. I mean, it's a game of angles. And impact is so important. You want to make sure that you can get to impact the most efficient way and repeatably over time. Because impact, I don't care how you swing the ball, you can be flailing, hitting your hat like Larry, our Tour Pro friend, does on your backswing. I don't know how that's possible. It happens, and he scores us, or he kills us. But his impact position is perfect, and that's really all that matters. And this fitting is going to help make that as good as it can get for you, regardless of your swing or the type of swing that you use. And I think it's pretty much it on equipment. So once you get all of these things done and you get back into the groove of things, at the beginning of every season, the biggest problem for me is knowing my distances. I forget how far I hit each club under different situations and just in general. And being rusty, I don't hit it as far as I used to hit it at the end of the season. So what we want to do on step 8 is at least once, ideally twice if your clubs are fitted properly. But if they're not, and you get your clubs organized, we want you to do a full distance assessment. Now, if you're a member of the Single Digit Blueprint, you can go inside the Power and Distance Challenge and get that distance assessment sheet and video. There's like a whole little kind of a workshop in there for getting this. And if you're not a member, you can go to singledigitblueprint.com and you'll be able to go in there, print it, and take it down to the driving range. Because I think knowing your distance, the guys that know their distances and are able to hit those consistently are the best players on the tour.
It's such a huge component to your game. I mean, not just knowing how far you hit the club, but is going into shots, and it allows you to different options. It could be like, I have 230 yards to the hole, but do I really need to hit my 2-iron that gets me to that spot, or do I need to hit like 190? You had Starbucks this morning, didn't you?
I did. I had Dunkin' Donuts too.
So it's critical in knowing your distances on each club. That way it helps you plan your game. So if you need to hit certain distances, it comes in handy, especially on par 5s, but it really are irons into greens as well.
It gives you the confidence to know, like, this is how far I hit this club. And that's how far it is. I always use a laser because it's better than GPS, I think. Because you can laser the flags. You know exactly how far it is. It's just a confidence booster. And not only that, when you know your distances and you know you're going to be consistent and you can hit at that distance, you're going to have a shorter putt. I mean, let's get real. This is the difference between being on the apron, being behind the green, being in front of the green, or being pin high. Just knowing your distances. You can hit a perfect shot, but if it's the wrong club and you hit it long or you hit it short, you're creating more work for yourself, more distance from the cup. So really assess your distance, and I would say do this once a month because your distance is going to change throughout the course of a year.
Yeah, if you're consistently working out, that is, once a month would be what I would do for sure. If you're just maintaining your fitness levels, once every couple of months, but definitely if you're progressing with your fitness, you want to make sure that you keep on top of this, because 10 yards can make a big difference. It's just like, if your club bends without you knowing it, these forged clubs can bend easily. And so if it bends a degree or two, that could be 5 or 10 yards and you may not know it. And you've hit a great shot, you've come up short in the water.
Yeah, I found that my 7-iron and my 8-iron were pretty much, the same club. They weren't identical lofts, but they were very close. They didn't have a big enough gap. And I mean, there was no difference in me picking either one, essentially. And you don't want that. You want to be able to use every club in your bag. Otherwise, what good is having a 7 and an 8-iron?
That's why we have a 14 club limit. So
yeah, get those checked. But then let's do a quick rundown, Rich, of this challenge. So this is a consistency challenge, and you're going to start this on March 14th on both the private group We actually might just do this on the main one and have our members jump over there to the main page. I think it would probably be easier on everybody.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So one of your check marks is going to be 15 minutes per day chipping and putting indoors or outdoors if the weather's okay. Then you're going to have 15 minutes per day of greasing the groove, setup, and alignment. And then you need to hit the practice range a minimum of 30 minutes 2 to 3 times per week. So each time you complete one of these, that's a check. That's a point. And then you need to start an exercise plan. And each time that you exercise or you walk or you stretch, that's a point. And then I'd say bare minimum 30 to 40 minutes of exercise. I really don't like to go over that. Some of my workouts are 45 minutes, but they're really intense. So at the end of that 45 minutes, I'm literally laying on my gym floor, totally shot. So for the sake of, if you haven't worked out before, let's go 30, 40 minutes. 30 minutes if you haven't worked out in a while, go easy, and then we'll just ramp it up over time. And then stretch every night before bed for 15 minutes. I'll put up a stretching guide, and on the last step, I'll put up a 14-day jump start as well to help you guys get going. And then you need to install a tracking app or start or start tracking on a scorecard.
Manually put it into a spreadsheet, something simple.
So once you do that, that's a check mark. And then get your equipment checked. That's another check mark. So these are all points. And then your distance assessment, another check mark. And we'll do this for 7 days. And obviously you don't need to install an app every day. It's just a one-time thing, as is the distance assessment and getting your equipment checked. You can do this on your own, or you can participate on the Facebook group. I would suggest you participate with us because you're going to be amazed at how much, I wouldn't call it love. Maybe it is love, like a group love of everybody rallying around each other and being supportive, especially when people hit some bumps in the road. Everybody kind of comes in and they say, look, that's okay. You're not a failure. We've all had these challenges before too. Let's continue on. And a lot of people do that. We actually see a lot of people that see this from the outside that are members, and they're like, hey, I'm just going to, this is not my thing, but I'm going to do it. And we've seen that quite a bit from people coming into the group. So come on and join us. What can it hurt? This is going to be the consistency challenge. Next week, we'll get into chipping and putting. So Rich, we're going to kind of wrap it up here. You have a year of Whataburger to give away.
Perfect for just finishing the flat belly challenge, right?
Yeah. How are we going to give that away? Well, you can eat all right. They have salads there.
So I've got the site live for the entry forms. It's at golfaggressive.com/Whataburger, and we'll put a link out there on social media. They have to enter a clue. So that clue is, where is Whataburger's headquarters? So you'll go to golfaggressive.com/Whataburger, into your name, your email, and the answer to my my clue, which is, where is Whataburger headquartered?
Where is the headquarters?
You'll have to find out.
And then they go there and they type that in, and
so they have to type in the answer. Now, if they submit that entry form, that'll be one entry. We're going to run it till the end of the month, and then we'll pick a winner anonymously through a random drawing. If they want to double their entry, I've also put a link on that site for a review on iTunes. So you can click a link. If they've got iTunes installed on their phone or their computer, they can quickly write a review.
So if you don't have iTunes, you could go to Stitcher.
Yeah, one of the other ones.
One of the other ones.
If you don't,
iTunes helps us out because the more positive reviews we get on there, the higher up we go. which means the more they'll promote us, and then we can create more listeners and potentially earn more money, Rich.
Yeah. So,
but I don't want to hear any complaints about that. I already got like a bad review on that.
It's your favorite listener. So
wish that guy would identify himself so I could call him
so
up on the phone.
if they submit a review, we'll double the entry. If they put it under an alias, just drop me an email at coaching@golfaggressive.com so that I know that review is attached to your entry form, and I can double the entry. So you'll get 2 entries into the draw. The actual prize itself will be a burger a week for an entire year, and so we'll send that out within the first week of April.
Their burgers are awesome. Now let's cover this, Rich. So what if they don't have a Whataburger? Because that's kind of a southern thing. That's like Texas, Oklahoma, Florida.
Yeah, we could probably do a substitute gift card to some other facility or restaurant. We'll discuss that at
Why don't we do a year of the single digit blueprint?
That sounds even better. That way it applies to everyone. So they have a choice. So if they don't want the Whataburger for a year, they can switch over and get a year of.
Which we hope you take the Whataburger because it's delicious. If you eat a burger every single day, I don't think you have to. I don't think there's an expiration date on these cards, is there?
There is one listed, but it doesn't matter. You can say you got it from corporate and you're good to go. Okay,
so it does say expires 12/31/16.
Yeah. The ones I think I've got for the actual giveaway are good to go. So for the entire year.
Nice. All right. Well, then we'll wrap it up there, and we're going to post this up on our blog so you can read it and figure it out. And then we're going to get started on March 14th. And later this week, we will kind of follow this up with a 14-day quick start workout and also a stretching guide that you can do before bedtime to get all stretchy so you can hit the ball longer, feel better.
Stretchy for longy.
No back pain, stretching. And I think that's pretty much it, Rich. What do you think?
It's perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's really going to get golfers ready for the season, and that's our ultimate goal with this. The flat belly got them in shape. Now we're just going to tune up their games so that they get ready for the season. I know, yesterday we had 3 or 4 of our members comment on their courses opening up yesterday. So
yeah, it's a big day yesterday.
Yeah, so it's a perfect time for this, and that way we can get them ready for the season, ready for their golf trips, ready for their tournament play. And so it'll be a perfect primer.
I got to give a shout out to Ron Griffin. That dude's an animal. He doesn't care if it snows. He doesn't care. He just goes out and putts.
Yeah.
He's at Andrews Air Force Base. Looks like they got a nice putting green out there. But he plays and practices daily, and he's tired of the weather. He works out all the time. He's an animal. Great guy. So anyway, that's it for this podcast, and we'll be back next week with another challenge.